Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Our Anime Podcast. Today we have a very special topic for you guys, and we're going to be talking about anime tourism. I am Shocking807, and today I'm joined by the lovely Princess Tutu. How are you doing?
Hi, I'm good, thanks. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us. We're honored, and we're hoping for more Tutu gasps.
No!
Yes, we already got one. I'm so excited.
Oh,
I loved hearing it in the Free episode, and this is coming from someone who hasn't seen Free yet.
Well, that was scandalous, so I think it was an appropriate gasp moment.
It was
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
And we're joined by the perfect A Crispy Ton of Bacon. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Good. It's been a while when you think about it.
It has.
Yeah.
It has. I'm glad you could join us and that you listened to the Free episode. It's been a real one.
Oh yeah. Like, even though I haven't been keeping up with a lot of anime for a while, I think that might be the tipping point. I might actually check out the show now because I want to
Yes.
see if I agree with everyone's opinion on there, and if Tutu had the right to gasp at the statement. So
I think
Exactly.
you'll agree with us. I genuinely think you'll agree with us. But
Cool.
we'll have to follow up on that one. And we're also joined today by our very special guest. We have Alfred, who has made Mipon.org, which is a really interesting website that we're going to talk about today. So thank you for joining us, Alfred. How are you doing?
Hi everyone, thank you very much for having me. I'm really happy to be here. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, we're so glad you could join us to talk to us about this because this is a topic that is something that's always been really interesting to us, but we haven't really had a good opportunity to discuss it. So this is great to talk about, especially when we're all under quarantine, around the world. So it's kind of fun to plan out trips for the future and think about what we want to do once quarantine is over and society is kind of back to normal. So I think what we wanted to do is kind of give a background on what experience we all have with anime tourism and Japan. So I'm starting off with zero experience. So since I have nothing to say, I'm going to be doing a lot of the question asking. And I was going to start off with Bacon because I know that you're living stateside, but you have gone on an anime pilgrimage to Japan. So can you give us the deets on that so I can live vicariously through your experiences?
Sure. And feel free to stop me anytime because obviously, like, this is kind of a moment for a lot of people to flex, like, oh yeah, I've been there and I did this.
No, this is the flexing episode. We need you guys to flex as much as
no.
possible. That's
so
the only requirement.
Oh, okay, I'm sending you a huge file of all my footage and pictures for the episode. I'm
gosh.
just kidding.
Yes.
Bacon family album.
Yes, I can't wait. So I went to Japan so I did go to Japan when I was a kid, but I don't count that because I was there on layover to go to the Philippines, and I do have a family that lives in Japan. But my official going there was 2018. It was around mid-April, and I came back like first week of June, so about two and a half weeks, and man, yeah, it was. I went with a couple friends of mine, and the main goal was, of course, just going to Japan, and the pilgrimages were kind of just side things because I was mainly going on their itinerary, because they invited me along, and I didn't want to be like, hey, if we're going, I want to go here. We mostly went to a lot of shrines. We went to the shrines in Kyoto, and like that. We went to that one shrine where it's like a bunch of the orange gates. That is quite the hike, and it was really fun. But the anime pilgrimages I went to was it was perfect timing when we were in Osaka. So the first thing we did was we went to the Makoto Shinkai Museum, and it was the final day of going to the museum there. So I got to
that's
see.
good timing.
Yeah, and I bought quite a few things there. If I had more money, I would have bought everything in there. I should. Never mind. I have a little music box that plays Your Name theme.
Oh, so
Wait,
cute.
that's adorable.
Maybe I'll sneak away at one point and go grab it just to flex that. But after that, a friend of ours, when we went back to I forget where hey, I got the website up. I should just look while I'm talking. But the exact locations of the stairs for Your Name and a lot of other Makoto Shinkai spots from places like Garden of Words and I think 5 centimeters per second, I think. But we went to those locations, like we went to the whole crosswalk area and the train area from those movies, and then we ended it by going to the Your Name stairs, and that was a really cool moment. That was a friend of mine that introduced us to that area, mainly because the train we were riding to get there was identical to the same route that Mitsuha was on. He didn't even tell us. He just told us the last second. He's like, oh, by the way, we took almost the exact train route and walking route there. I was just trying to find it. I was like, oh, cool. Then the biggest thing that made me happy about my trip, other than all the food and stuff like that, was I mean, I had to make a big decision at one point. It was one morning, my friends were like, "Hey, we're not doing anything today. Just same thing, eat, walk around. Do you want to come with us to Ichiran and then afterwards go see the Gundam?" And I said no. Some of you guys might be thinking, it's the Gundam. It's a Gundam Unicorn. You're crazy. Why wouldn't you want to see that? Instead, I am a hardcore Große Panzer fan, and I was able to that night map out the route on how to get to Orai, which is in Ibaraki. And I looked at the train schedule, and I was like, okay, if I leave at 8 a.m., I could be there by like 10:30. And I chose to do that instead alone. So I went on my own journey while they went to go see the Gundam, because it was my only time to do something by myself before we had to pick up and go to our next Airbnb over and then leave for good. So took 3 trains and finally arrived at Orai, and the town is sadly like quiet, dead, you know. I didn't realize that later on that they actually do have like conventions and meetups there, like car meetups. I think to celebrate the town or celebrate like a new release of the anime. I don't know, because when I went there was no one there. But I got to go to all the historic sites that were in the anime. I got to go to the train station, the tower, the mall, and that's featured in the Große Panzer film. And I went to the actual official Große Panzer store where they had like a bunch of museum stuff plus signed autographs of stuff on the mural wall. And I talked to the guy there saying I was happy. Bought like $300 worth of merch, and then went back. Pretty much those are all the highlights there. And in terms of me wanting to go back to Japan in the future, the main thing I want to go there is go to at least maybe a ryokan around Mount Fuji, and hopefully go to Numazu, because that's the town where Aqua from Love Live is from or based off of. And do the whole generic go to the beach and write Aqua in the sand, because that's what they do in the anime. That's what I want to do. And,
that sounds like a fun one.
Yeah, for sure. I've been talking with my friends about going to going to Japan next year. And now, since the Olympics has been postponed, and now talks are amongst my friends of going to the Olympics. Personally, I don't want to go to the Olympics. It might be a lot of people. And, of course I love the Olympics, but I'm in the middle about that. I mainly want to go somewhere where it's a little more quiet, peaceful, that kind of stuff. So, other than that, yeah. Oh, and Family Mart chicken, that's crack to me. Just want to put that out there. If
so
you guys
want more of that?
Dude, if anyone goes to Japan, like in the future, listening to this, Family Mart chicken is the best.
Nice.
Tell him, Alfred. Am I right?
Well,
Ooh.
yeah, I heard that. I mean, I am vegetarian, so I
Oh,
don't know.
I'm
So
sorry.
he's gonna say no. He's gonna hit you with the hard no on that one.
No, I'm so sorry. In the future,
I mean, like,
suggest me something vegetarian then. I'm sorry.
yeah, many of my friends, like, yeah, they really like the Family Mart chicken. Yeah, they say that it's fantastic.
Okay, good
yeah.
to know. Okay. Thank you for telling me that. Cool.
Well,
Yeah, that's it.
Bacon, you could have asked Tutu, because Tutu also lives in Japan and has come over semi-recently and has gone to a few really scenic locations. So maybe
Oh.
she will have...
Well, and
I know she'll have...
I was gonna
Yeah,
say
go
that
ahead.
I prefer the fried chicken from Lawson, so I have to disagree with you.
Oh,
so-
no, it hurts.
Yeah.
Why?
I'm
It's
sorry.
called
2
karagi-kun,
L's for
and
the
it's
day.
got a little cute chicken on it, and it's way better than the Family Mart chicken. So
I will admit this, I don't remember eating that one probably.
There you go.
So there you go. Yeah. So now I have to go there and do a comparison
you
and then
do
contact you
exactly.
Hey, you win, Tutu, you win. Sorry.
So yeah,
Yeah.
So I live in Tokyo at the moment. The first time I went to Japan was with 2 like other anime fan friends. Last year, in March, we went around the time where the sakura were in full bloom, so it was really amazing. I feel like one of our big main finds in Tokyo was, obviously we wanted to go to Akihabara so much. That was like one of our first stops. We wanted to go and like buy lots of anime merch, look around the shops. And what we didn't realize before was that the shops there, to be honest, are like a lot more kind of male oriented types of anime merch and maid cafes and all these kinds of things. And so it was kind of a letdown for us. We were like, oh, this is all like Love Live figures and like,
Whoa.
yeah, I know. Sorry, I just said that because I knew you would.
This was Bacon's culture.
Right, exactly.
It's
So
all good. It's all good.
I feel me and Bacon, we've got a different culture going on. So what we ended up, where we ended up really loving, because we were female anime fans, but for anyone who just enjoys more kind of like female oriented type of anime, shoujo josei or whatever, we really loved Ikebukuro, which also has like a big kind of anime scene there. It's actually where Durarara was set. So my friend was really hype because she was like, oh, I recognize the streets and stuff. Anyway,
Cool.
So for example, like they have anime merch stores there, but it's all like Torambu and like male idols and like idolish and all those things. Lots of fishy merch, all that kind of stuff. And there's not maid cafes, there's a butler cafe. So yeah,
Wow.
it's really cool.
Wow.
So it's like an amazing place if you're into that kind of anime. So we really loved going there so much. But probably my favorite spot that I'd been to was Omijingu Mae, which is the shrine that's featured in Chihayafuru.
Yes, I was waiting for you to talk about this. I'm so excited.
Yes, because it was
right.
honestly the best. And it's somewhere that you can quite easily get to on train from Kyoto. You can easily take a day trip there or a half-day trip there, like, because it's not super far. And Japanese public transport in the cities is just excellent. It's really so good. So yeah, it's amazing. It's actually also the perfect place if you're wanting to go somewhere to do some sightseeing, but perhaps the people you're traveling with are not so much anime fans. I feel like this is a really good kind of middle ground because
Smart.
it's just a beautiful Shinto shrine, which is when we were there was loads of sakura, and it's just a gorgeous place to visit if you're at all interested in like Japanese culture in general. And also it's just so picturesque, it's so beautiful, and it's not, overwhelmed with otaku or with anime banners or posters or like figures or anything like that. So if you have
we don't want any of that here, boo. Yeah.
right, well, there's a time and a place, maybe not at the shrine. But yeah, so it's nice for really anyone who's a fan of that kind of thing. But if you are a fan of Chihayafuru, they also have merch at the shop, and adjacent to the shrine itself is the Karta kind of center where they hold the real life Queen and Meijin matches. So you can go inside there and you can take a peek at the area where the matches take place with the tatami mats and everything. It's so exciting. And they also have like cardboard cutouts of Chihaya, Taichi, Arata, and all the main cast. You can take your picture beside them. That's one thing you'll notice when you go to Japan. They love a good photo op.
Oh, nice.
So
Oh,
much.
nice.
So if you go to a museum exhibition, a special event, anything, there's always going to be like special places where you can take photos with your friends as if you were in the anime. That's a real thing they seem to love
Nice.
here. So anyway, so you could do that there, which was great. You could buy Karta cards, you could buy like keychains, lots of other like little bits and pieces of Chihaya merch, which was awesome because Chihaya Furu merch is so difficult to come by. I don't think I'd ever seen any before until I came to Japan. So yes,
Oh, that's amazing.
but there's so many things. Like same as bacon, I feel like there's so much to talk about. But those were the big things I think that we discovered in our first trip there.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear, and it's good to hear that you're enjoying living in Japan now.
For sure. Because I feel like
Yeah.
there's so many instances of like incidental anime tourism. For
Yeah.
example, like I got off the train the other day in Takodano Baba, and there was like this huge, beautiful like mural of I've forgotten the name of the author. But you know the guy who did like Dororo and like
Oh yeah, Tezuka?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Tezuka. So there was a huge mural of like all his characters, like on a big wall. And I was like,
Oh,
wow, I
wow.
didn't even know this was here, but this is so cool. So even when you're just going about your day-to-day life, you see anime things everywhere, and it's just so much fun. I really
Well,
love
that's
that.
the thing. They really know how to like advertise. Like whenever I was
They
getting
do,
on a train
yeah.
over there was one thing that they were advertising. I think it was like Vanguard or something like that. It
Probably,
was-
yeah. Like card
it was
fight
card-
Vanguards.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, like the
Yeah, I
train
know
came
the
by
one.
and I saw all the characters from Vanguard, and I was like, "Whoa,
fun.
is this still a thing?" Or I don't play the game, you know. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but I was like,
Still going
"Geez," like, so-
strong, I believe, yeah.
Yeah, I know, and so I guess that's the fascinating thing I love most, like about Japan, is that whenever there's, regardless if you think something is like whether it's a game or an anime that you don't really like follow, whenever they make a big release or a comeback or something like that, when they need to advertise, they advertise, man. Like they go all out, from big banners or taking up the big screens in the city, or like I always thought, like, you know, that's a great way to advertise, is on the train, because everyone's on the train kind of deal. So I feel like as a company, you made it when you could take over an entire train and be like, yeah, here you go, when it comes to that stuff. So every time I saw a certain type of advertisement for a series that not even I keep up with, I was like, wow, it's still big, or you guys still got money. Like, wait, is this a thing? And it kind of gets me thinking, like, maybe yeah, like I'm kind of hating on it, but at the same time I'm like, hey dude, like I'm glad they're still going strong, man. Look at that, man. You got a whole train system advertising for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. It's always good to have the train flex to know that they're still in business.
If there are no more trains, how will we advertise? Oh no, no, what do we do?
That's probably like a real scare right now. But
yeah.
Alfred, I'd love to hear more about your story, because you were telling us a bit the last time we talked, and I feel like your whole journey is just really interesting for like everyone, like living in Japan, not living in Japan. I'm sure for people who have gone to Japan, or people like me who haven't gotten to go to Japan. So I'd love to hear about how you have ended up in Japan and, you know, created your own website and passion there.
Oh, yeah. Well, so I think that, since I was a kid, like, I don't know, like 7 years old, my biggest dream was to live in Japan. Like, of
Nice.
course, because of anime, right?
That's where it all starts.
So,
There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, so to make a long short story, to make a long story short, in 2014, I came to Japan for the very first time as an exchange student.
Oh.
And yeah, like and when I came here, like I saw like that was the last day of Anime Japan. Anime Japan is like the
Yes,
biggest.
I've been there too.
The big.
Yes,
Yeah, really?
it's amazing.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what is this? I don't think I've heard
It's
of
the
this.
biggest like anime convention. It's where they announce like all the big new series. Like they make
Oh,
huge
okay, okay.
announcements. They have seiyuu, special guests, and lots of people advertising the new.
Oh yeah,
shows
and you
and
said
things.
this was the last time it happened.
It was like the event is just for like it's for one weekend. No, I think it's 3 days or
Yeah,
2
yeah.
days. So I arrived in Japan on Sunday on a Sunday, and that was like the last day of the
Oh,
event.
last day
like,
of the event. I thought you meant last
that
time
year,
ever. I was like,
yeah.
oh, that's so sad.
No. Like like the last day, and I was so angry and so frustrated. I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna come to to Japan again. So probably this is my only chance to be here. So I miss this, like the most important anime event in the world. I miss it because I didn't know it. I mean, there was no like any website or like someone to tell me about this. I was really angry, and then I went to the tourist office and I asked for like, hey, can you give? I mean, like, I asked like, hey, what are like the best anime spots here in Japan, or can you give me like where can I buy good like anime merchandise? And they gave me a map with just like 8-9 spots of anime, and I was like, what? This doesn't make sense at all. It's Japan. How come there are only 9 anime spots in all over Japan? I was like, wow, this is stupid. This can't be happening. Yeah. And I mean, I was so frustrated and angry, and I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, anyway, yeah, whatever. And then like I noticed that many of my Japanese friends, they were not aware about like anime spots, anime events, or like anime attractions in Japan. Like even though like they were really like otaku, they didn't know about like a lot of anime spots. For example, like when I arrived to Japan, I really the first place that I wanted to go besides Akihabara, it was like J World, that it was like an anime theme park. It was shut down last year.
Oh wow!
But that was like the very first that I wanted to go.
Yeah.
And when I say, hey, yeah, I want to go to J World, and everyone was like, what is this? What is J World? I was like, yeah.
It's like, you guys live here. You tell me.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going through
like,
you're going through like a rude awakening right now. Like, man, it's like no one knows all the cool stuff that's going on, or the things that you heard about.
Exactly. That what happened. I mean, that's exactly what happened. And I was like, I was so disappointed about Japan. About like,
Ouch.
like, yeah. I was like the heaven of anime. I mean, it's Japan. Like definitely, like the best. Yeah, it's like Japan for me is anime, right?
Yeah.
So I came here like without like a lot of like information about like the anime life in Japan. When I Google it was like always the same spots, like the Pokemon Center, Akihabara, like the Ghibli Museum, like those kind of things. But like those are the things that like everyone knows, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So I was so, I don't know, like disappointed, frustrated, and then I came back to my country in August of 2014, and then in 2015 I moved to Tokyo for good. And I started living in Tokyo in 2015. The first time that I came here was when I moved to Tokyo, I was studying Japanese.
Oh, cool.
I was studying Japanese. Yeah, I was studying Japanese, and then I found a job in Japan, and that's why I'm here. why I'm still here. So I was living the dream in Tokyo, right?
Yeah.
And then one day, I don't know what was the event, but like after like a couple of days I read, and I think that I checked Anime's news network, and they say about like there was like a big anime event or like an anime shop. I don't remember, like for a limited. I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember if it was a shop or it was like an event.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell? I live in Tokyo and I miss this event. I was super angry. I was like really, really angry. Like, I miss another event again.
And you lived
like,
there. You didn't hear about it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So one day I was like, okay, damn it. Like, I was like, okay, if no one wants to make this website, I'll do it myself.
Right.
Yeah. And then I start like reading about like anime tourism. Well, first I discovered what was like anime tourism. I didn't know what was anime tourism, and then I noticed that there was like something called anime pilgrimage, and I was like, whoa, I think that's the kind of website that I would like to do. So I start planning the website in 2018, I guess, around May of 2018. So I start planning the website. I start reading it. I wrote my business plan and those kind of things, and I start like designing the website. I think in October of 2018, and then I start coding the website. Well, I am a web developer, by the way, and I launched Mipon finally on March of last year, 2019. And the first month we had only like 2,000 views, and I was like, well, it's okay. Like, I was 2,000 views is fine. Like, I'm doing this because this is the website I wanted to read, right? So I didn't want anyone else to feel what I felt when I was in Japan. Like, in terms of like, you are in Japan, you are in Tokyo, and you are missing an important event. You miss an important spot. So I didn't want anyone to feel like that. So that's why I created Mipon.
See, that because that could have happened to me if my friend didn't do extensive research on the Makoto Shinkai Museum. Because when I was in Osaka, I didn't know it was going on until he had to look up any events that was going on there. And so that it's kind of, I know what you mean by that, because who knows where the things I could have missed when I was actually there. And it's also easier for people to travel to Japan knowing that there's an event going to go on there, because that's like their goal.
Yeah, I also agree with you. I think it's really hard. Like you say, there is a huge gap in the market for a website like this in English, because I found it really, really hard as well to get information about. I live here. I find it hard to get information about the latest events and everything. Obviously, there's a huge otaku networks in Japan, but all their websites and resources and things like that are all in Japanese. So unless you can speak Japanese fluently and like have huge knowledge of kanji and everything, then there just doesn't exist a thing like that. Because exactly what you said, even if you're just a holiday maker, it's like you said, it's the same things every time. They're like, anime fan, go to Akihabara, go to the Ghibli Museum, like do these same exact things.
I completely agree with you on that, because we've heard of that. Like I feel like Akihabara is one of the things where it's like, you go when you, as an anime fan, you go there when like you have nothing else to do, kind of thing, because everyone's heard about it.
Yeah, it's the most famous thing, and actually we found it to be a letdown. So it's like there's no kind of one size fits all like anime spot, you know, because like just as there's so many different types of anime fan, you want to find stuff that you're gonna go and really love. So to be able to like peruse a huge website database where you can look up your favorite shows and manga and things like that, it's just like ideal, rather than just thinking, I'll go to Akihabara and they'll definitely have stuff for me. Well, you know, they might.
I feel like Akihabara is only for just, you know, buying merchandise, and the thing is, not everyone
for sure
is into buying, you know, merch.
They want a different kind of experience, maybe like the pilgrimages and things.
Yeah, the pilgrimages, I think for me, they hold a little more value in my mind.
I feel
because, you know, like I didn't buy anything at Akihabara, surprisingly. I was looking for stuff, but a lot of the stuff I saw there, I was just like, I can't really bring that home because it's too big. Or you're right, there was like there's a lot of like Idolmaster stuff, and I didn't watch Idolmaster at the time, so I was like, okay, that's cool. Then maid cafes, I'm not into maid cafes. I haven't fully
It's a fun
experienced
experience, I think, but I understand.
No, I'm awkward as hell. Like when they're blessing the food, I was like, dude, can I just eat? And then I eat it, and I'm just like, this food's alright. Like you go for the entertainment, not for the food. I'm the
food in these places are always a bit.
Yeah, I know.
But it's okay.
That's so. So my question, and this is like kind of like towards everyone. Like, do you think the reason why we don't hear about these big anime related events and stuff like that is because Japan themselves don't really see that as like a high priority of like trying to like let everyone know about it, or they're only focused on advertising to certain like age group, because I kind of see that here sometimes where if a convention's coming up, you don't really hear about the news covering the convention only until the day of the convention, or unless there's an incident. Like a big example would be Anime Expo. Anime Expo, you don't really see advertising on it 3 weeks out. You just, because either everyone knows about it or everyone that's going is like, knows about it. But when AX was in trouble for having these large lines that ended up into neighborhoods that didn't lead anywhere, or people like
when they thought it was people evacuating because of the earthquakes, but it really was
That
just
was
people
amazing.
waiting outside.
oh my god, dude,
My favorite.
good times, man.
It's so funny.
But
Yeah.
It's like that's the only time any conventions or big anime related events kind of get any coverage at all. So I was wondering, like, is it like in Japan when like Comic-Con's going on, Comic-Con only gets news coverage when it's the day of Comic-Con? Like you don't really see advertising for it a month out, Like, so I'm not sure if that's the way they run things. They're like, oh yeah, everyone knows about that, so there's no point in talking about it, kind of deal.
Yeah, I think, well, the reason the reason why that's happening, it's because, like, for example, if you go to any anime website, and like anime news website, you post about, hey guys, this anime event, for example, Comic-Con or Anime Japan is coming out, like, well, will be it's like it will be held like next week. That will count as a promotion. Usually you need to pay for that.
That's true.
That's why.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
yeah, exactly. So that's why, like, if you go to any anime news website, like, yeah, as you mentioned, it's like after the event happened, you will see pictures of, like, oh, this is how Comic look, like something like that. And that's something that I didn't like. Of course I understand why they are doing it. I understand. But as an anime fan living in Japan, that's not fair.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, I don't care if someone will pay me for this. I'll do it because that's the information that I want to see online.
Yeah.
And yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, I really promote, like, any event. Of course, I promote events that I like the most.
Yeah,
makes
Like,
sense.
if there's like something related about, like, Shingeki no Kyojin, Yu-Gi-Oh, or like animes that I really love, I really don't mind if I get money or not. I just want to promote. I want people to feel like I feel when I go to an anime spot. I don't know. I mean, I want them to feel like really, like, excited, like happy to be in an anime event or like anime related spot. So yeah, I think that's the reason. And before, like, I create Nippon, I asked the same question to one of my friends that is working in the anime industry about, like, why they only cover the event when the event just happened. And that's what he told me, like, because the anime event needs to pay for that. Yeah.
Wow, okay.
Certain anime events can also be really inaccessible to foreigners. Big ones like Comic-Con and Anime Japan, you can buy tickets for with like a foreign credit card or whatever. But for events such as, Sha remembers this, but I really wanted to go to the Haikyuu live event. It was happening, huge, massive event.
Haikyuu!
Yes, I know.
Haikyuu!
And it was like to kick off the brand new season. But at that point, I wasn't in Japan yet. And to enter the ticket lottery to get a ticket, or to get a chance to win the ticket, you had to have a Japanese address and a Japanese telephone number. And you couldn't buy a ticket without either of those things. So
that's so
if someone
frustrating.
was coming on holiday and thought, oh, I'm going to be in Japan when the Haikyuu event is happening, they would be kind of not able to. There wouldn't really be a way for them to buy a ticket to go and see it. And that is super common.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's a real shame because it kind of bars tourists from getting more involved in these things.
That's the exact same process for Love Live lives.
Yeah. Loads of events are like this. It's just such a shame. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Stage
so
plays,
I
like,
do.
Yeah.
I got friends that like that do live here that somehow are still able to attend the lives because there's like a couple ways to, I won't say cheat the system, but
Sure.
I do have friends that do have like actual Japanese credit cards, or they do like they have a Japanese like phone number as well. The only part is the address, and I think they get around it in some weird way. So that's what kind of keeps me from going to events as well, is because like I saw what you need to do it, and I thought it was just too much work on my end. And me, I'm really skeptical when it comes to like dealing with like foreign currency stuff. I'm like, what if something bad happens and I can't
I think
explain
that's sensible,
myself?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Like, think that if you don't speak Japanese, it's really complicated to make a reservation. For example, I went to the Full Metal Alchemist Cafe last year, and all the reservation. I mean, how to book a table. Everything was in Japanese. So if you don't speak Japanese, it's quite difficult to get a table, because again, everything is in Japanese, and you need like sometimes you need a Japanese telephone number, a Japanese credit card, and it's kind of hard. And I think that I keep saying that Japanese people they haven't realized like how important is the anime and manga for foreigners.
Yeah.
So
I agree,
that's
yeah.
I think that, and they don't advertise like anime for like foreigners. And even though it's a big market, it's a really huge market, they just don't care.
Now, is there like a
honestly.
negative mindset that
Yeah.
they look at foreigners in a certain way? Like, oh, you're only here because of that stuff that is on your side in the West. Is there anything like, is there that kind of mindset probably?
That's actually a good question. I don't think so. I think probably I think that like most of the people are involved in the anime industry, they don't speak English.
I think you're
So
right.
for example, I have a friend that is working in a. I have several friends that they work in the anime industry, and one of them in his company, there are only 3 English speakers in all the company, in the whole company, and the company is really big. It's one of the most important anime companies in the world, and there are only 3 English speakers. 3.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what? Yeah. And I think that's like it's I think that is a problem about like Japanese people. They don't speak English. So that's why all the advertisement, everything, like when someone I don't know, when there is like say you a voice actor, and that will tweet something, or a anime director, they always tweet in Japanese, because not because I think that not because they don't want to post it in English. Is because they don't speak in English.
Yeah.
So that's
So
why
what
they
you're
don't
saying
publish
is
it in
Yeah.
English.
In order for everything to be integrated together, us Western fans need to learn Japanese, and Japanese need to learn English in order for things to get like to start
Exactly.
moving forward. Kind of deal.
Exactly.
It sounds like we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds like you've done a great job of like making that first step and like kind of proving that there is a market for foreigners who are coming to Japan who want to experience different type of anime pilgrimages, and have like a guide for when they go over there. So it's kind of tough. It's probably tough for them, because what it kind of sounded to me was like it's not even like it's not like they're looking down on foreigners. They're just not really thinking about us that much in general.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think
Exactly.
your website's the perfect way
Yeah,
to
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of bridge the gap there, for sure.
Yeah, and that's
Thank
pretty.
you, thank
that's
you.
pretty understandable, because I mean, it's tough to be considerate of a bunch of different cultures, especially in such a niche, industry. They're kind of focused on themselves and doing what they can to keep creating. But that's why it's so great that we have a website like Mipon.org for when people do go over and they want to know where they can go, and they can start planning out their trips. So, yeah, it's like such a great first step for making it easier both for people vacationing in Japan, and then also, showing that there is a market for this. So I definitely appreciate it, and I think it was really cool looking around and seeing how you highlighted, just various places by the series that people are interested in, by like areas, by the types of the types of locations they wanted to go to, like anime restaurants or like real life events, or even just stores where they can kind of find like different merchandise or cool like authentic clothing or cosplay outfits. So it's got like such a cool range of it. I was wondering, what do you feel like is, I'm sure you want to say like every page is really important, but which page do you feel like is like were you the most proud of, like when you thought of it and created?
I think that definitely would be the Steins Gate. The Steinsghetto.
Yes,
like
Steinsghetto.
Japanese people pronounce it Steinsghetto.
Yeah.
The article of Steins Gate, I received a lot of positive feedback, and many people like send me an email. Like also I met some of my users
Oh, that's amazing.
in Tokyo, and they told me like that Steins Gate like article was perfect. It was well written, like it was like step by step, like first go here, then go here. Like it was a really good article. Many people, I mean, I would love Steins that anime. I love Steins Gate.
Me too.
So and when I did the pilgrimage of Steins Gate, I was like, wow, this is fantastic. I love this thing. And that's why I put it like as detailed as possible, like most of the articles on Mipon. But that article, it was like, it was written by a fan from a fan. Yeah. So that's actually that I always try to do. Like, I only write articles that I like. For example, if I don't write an article which I haven't, for example, watched that anime. I always wanted to. I mean, that's why sorry, Bacon. I don't have the Girls on Fans article because I haven't watched it yet. Well, I just watched the first three. So I don't have for example, Girls on Pants. I don't have Chihaya Furu because I haven't watched it. I don't have like Shirobako. So those or Durarara because I haven't watched the anime yet.
Of course.
So
we can't expect you to watch them.
Write an article.
So that was gonna be one of my questions. Is do you think you're gonna have maybe a system where you could have other anime fans input, like obviously you'd review it first, that kind of deal, but like have other people be like, hey, I know a lot of things about this one anime and the town and everything else, and I could do a very detailed explanation on either how to get there, how to enjoy yourself there in upcoming events. Would you like me to write that up for you to put on your website kind of deal? And you could probably strike a deal with them, because it's going to be hard for you to watch everything and visit everywhere. By all means, do it. That's so cool. You're already living the life. But the thing is, it's like anime every single season is always like changing, and there's always like the new big thing that's coming out that's probably based off something in Japan. So like, would you be like open to like allowing people to be like, hey, can I write an article about this one town that I could put on your website kind of deal? So then to get the word out kind of thing.
Yeah, thanks for asking that. Yeah, that's a good question. And we just published our guest post guidelines, I think 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
And there is like, we already received like an article about like the Jump Festa. That is like the biggest anime event for like shonen jumps. For shonen shows like, for the Jump magazine, like Dragon Ball, Yu-Gi-Oh, Naruto, all the big titles. So someone went to the event and he wrote the article and he sent it to me. That's one article that I have it. And also I met a guy in an anime meetup here in Tokyo. He's really passionate about Fate. He loves Fate, all the Fate series. And I watch only Fate Zero and the 3 routes of Fate Stay Night, like the route Fate, Unlimited Blade Works, and Heaven's Fields. But he's really passionate about Fate. So he's writing the article of Fate Stay Night real life locations in Japan. We we published the first part of that article. I think that 1 month ago. He just finished the Yokohama part, so there will be an article about like Fate Stay Night, Yokohama real life locations. Yeah. Yeah, I would love if I would love if people can write an article and then they want to post it in Mipon. Yeah, like as you mentioned before, like I can watch all the animes and I cannot write all the
like
the
what if there's a
articles.
show that you don't
So,
like? You're like, I don't want to write an article.
Yeah, exactly.
That show's horrible.
Yeah. And but yeah, if someone is really, I mean, they already did, like, for example, the pilgrimage of I don't know, Shirobako, Durarara, and they want to write an article about that and post it on Mipon. Yeah, I will be happy to post it in Mipon. And now we have more than 70,000 views per month. So I think that many people will read the article, definitely. Right. Yeah.
And going back to the language barrier of it, the thing is like the thing that's really cool though is that Japan, like the English speaking areas are obviously the high tourist areas. So of course you can have English speaking enough, like in Tokyo, usually like, you know, where you land or where like Tokyo Station is, or like in Kyoto. That's one thing I noticed when I was there, is that quite a few, like when I was asking for directions, like, you know, they understood a good amount of my English to be like, oh yeah, it's over there. You know, you're not the first American, you're not the first English speaker to ask this question, kind of deal. But when it comes to the anime pilgrimages, it's as if those areas, although marketed as tourist spots, those don't get as much traffic, especially since like sometimes there are maybe anime series that are based off a town that's in the middle of nowhere. Looking at Girls in Panzer, it's like at the far corner of Japan and near like a sea town. And so I guess like the need for English for some areas varies on the popularity of that area. Like I guarantee you there are probably quite a few English speaking like helpers and employees in like freaking, you know, like Numazu or Tokyo, you know, like where really big franchises gather, kind of deal. So obviously there might be some sort of thing where they're like, oh, Americans love Dragon Ball Z, so we're gonna need a few English speaking employees here, kind of deal. You know what I mean?
I definitely think it's a good idea though for anyone, I guess, going to any foreign country to try and pick up a bit of the language. So I think you can get by quite well with like a small amount of Japanese, I think.
Yeah. I think that then nowadays I think that is a bit easier. But like, for example, the first time that I came to Japan in 2014, like it was really complicated to find like Japan was not like English friendly at all. So I think that now it's getting more like it's getting more like English friendly. It's now exactly.
Especially like there was a big push for it recently with the Olympics, of course. Like everyone started to try and like the signage was in more English. There was like announcements on the train where there was more English, and like I work as an English teacher, and so they're always trying to like push for more and more types of English classes so that people can communicate with foreigners who are coming over for the Olympics and stuff like that. So yeah.
By the way, I was still going through your website, and I thought this was really funny because it's like a funny coincidence. And you have a area for anime manga slang kind of deal, or words that you hear often and stuff like that, dude. So you have one on Moe, and there's a book that you show called the
Moe Manifesto.
I have that book, and I was reading it a few days ago. I bought that in Japan. Yeah, I have that. I'm reading it right now. Yeah, it talks about like the concept of Moe and interviews people. So I like how you put that in there. How it's just like, hey, like on your off time, check out this stuff. So just throwing it out there. Funny coincidence. Yeah. Overall, yeah. In terms of your website, there's so much potential, and that's one thing I really like about it. Is that there's always gonna be a lot more you can add on to it, and I think a really cool addition to it, because I noticed you have like a thing where it's like a top things that people should know before traveling to Japan. I think or before visiting Japan, you should of course have like more of an in-depth look on like exact steps on what to buy. Like one example that got me and my friends confused was how viable is a Japan rail pass. And so I've had a lot of people ask me, hey, do I need to buy a rail pass? And my answer is always, it depends where you're going, because you have to take like what the Shinkansen, right? And I used that pass a few times because I was going from Tokyo to Osaka and then we went back. But that pass sometimes works for main lines, but it doesn't work for like more rural train lines. Because some rural train lines is like cash only. And like, you know, some guards when... Yeah. And so... Oh yeah, the really fast ones. And it always varied. It always like... There were some like guards that would see our pass and be like, oh, go. And other guards, when they saw us walk by, they're like, whoa. Like, what do you think you're doing? So if you had things like that in terms of traveling Japan, like, you know, should I get pocket Wi-Fi? Or can I buy that? And, you know, better to have cash or card kind of deal. And like, you know, all that kind of stuff. That'd be a really cool addition for your website. Pretty much make like a starter pack for if you just want to go. Here's what I would suggest, and here's the reason why, kind of deal. Because the biggest question I get is just a Japan Rail Pass, and I said, yeah, like get it, but it's
that's
a little
actually
pricey.
good advice. Thank you. Yeah, I will add it to the website. I have an article about like about 27 things that every anime and manga fan should know before coming to Japan. And one question that I like many people is always asking me is like, I think that one of the top 3 questions is like, where to buy anime t-shirts. That's like, they always ask me that question, where to buy anime t-shirts.
See, that's a tough one because like there's a lot
in Tokyo. There are not, I'm not sure if there are like many anime, like good anime t-shirt stores. I found like 3 really good anime t-shirts stores, and most of them are in Akihabara. But yeah, it was really hard to find like anime t-shirts. I love anime t-shirts. I have like more than 20 probably. And yeah, when I came to Tokyo, I was like, oh yeah, I would like to buy a lot of anime t-shirts. But like everything was figures, like, or like keychains. There was no like anime t-shirts. Yeah.
That's the thing. That's something that I found out. Like, you don't really realize that actually Japanese kind of preferences for merch is actually really different from the West. So like people in the West, like they love like a poster or like a t-shirt or like something like that, a rucksack. But like in Japan, exactly what you said, they love figures and like body pillows and like
keychains.
The keychains and the
exactly the badges. Yeah,
so like all the girls,
it's crazy.
Thank you.
Crazy,
yeah, right?
how much.
So you go into a shop and it's all badges and keychains, and that's all it is. And I was like, I mean, I like keychains, but I mean, how many do I need?
Exactly.
It's gonna weigh down your bag. Your bag's gonna be so heavy with all that metal and plastic.
And do you know what I mean? Like, I only have like one set of keys. So that's the thing. Yeah, you have to you realize that quickly. It's kind of hard to come by a nice anime t-shirt in Japan, which seems absurd. But
I guess I got kind of lucky because I think the reason why I saw quite a few t-shirts, because at all the expensive like boutique stores like Supreme and Bape and all that stuff, because I had a few friends that were kind of into the streetwear game over there, but I felt so broke and big because they did not have my size. So, but the thing
Japanese sizes, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, they seem killer.
I know. It's so. But the thing is, I saw a lot of collabs. I saw a lot of One Piece collabs, and like there were some things. There's some shirts that I wanted. I saw a couple Dragon Ball Z collabs too. So I think that's where you see like the really nice stylized anime shirts come from, or at least from what I saw. But the downside is, one, I'm too big, and then two, it's like that's really expensive. I mean, the only piece of clothing I bought from Japan was from a sumo wrestling store, or like it was called like Grand Back, and like I went there and it was a place for big people, right? And so in Japanese sizing I'm a 3L, and I think that's like triple XL or whatever, and it's my workout sweater. I love it, and now I can't find it anywhere online, and I regret not buying more. But I can see that though. Yeah, like I guess the shirt thing is probably only for if you're a hardcore otaku and you want to look good. Because the thing about Japan and their clothes is that they are always stylish. So maybe
They do look really stylish.
Always.
God.
Japanese businessmen suits every day.
Oh yeah, that's right. They go to work in suits and they change into their
Yeah, that's
uniform.
great.
So that's wild. That, and when I went to a mall on a Saturday, I swear I was like the only dude in the mall because it was all just high school Japanese girls like all shopping. I felt so left out. I was like, man, there ain't nothing for me here. I can't fit this. There's nothing. Good times.
Good
Yeah, good
times.
times.
So I was wondering, we've gotten to see a lot of like what you've already accomplished, but did you have any kind of like hopes for the future with Mipon.org, or just, future plans for the website, or just, what you'd like to see more of in the future?
Yeah, like well, some of the objective for this year is like the first one will be like to grow the YouTube channel. That's now our main focus now, is trying to grow the YouTube channel. Also, we are planning to make a big redesign on the website.
Cool. What is your YouTube?
It's also Mipon.
Just Mipon? Okay, cool.
Mipon.
Nice.
And
We'll link it below, of course.
So the YouTube channel is more, it's more for like people that are not living in Japan and they are interested to live to know how is the anime life in Japan. That's like the objective for the YouTube channel. And the website is more focused on people that are either living in Japan or are visiting Japan. I mean, we have like some articles about like that is not related with the anime life in Japan. Like, for example, we have articles of what's the most popular anime right now in Japan. What is the best selling manga in Japan right now? Like, we have an article explain about like, we really have a really good article. We just posted a couple of days ago. It's about like Shosetsu ni Naroka. It's like the most important web novel website. Is where the Rising of the Shield Hero, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, the regular Magic School, and a lot of other shows came out that first. So we have so basically the YouTube channel is more for people that are not living in Japan, and the website is for people that are in Japan, basically. And so the objective for the website in like, I would say like in the next 2 years, it's like the first one will be like making more like as a community. Like Bacon mentioned, is like it would be great if anyone can post their experience in Japan, like their anime experience in Japan. So making more like a kind of a not like a Reddit, but maybe kind of a Reddit, but for anime tourism. That's the idea. And also the other idea that I have for the website is like, I don't know, wherever you are. For example, let's say you are in Chicago, right? And you just type your location. Okay, I am in Chicago. So it's gonna show you like the upcoming events in Chicago, the upcoming anime or manga events, the upcoming meetups, anime or manga meetups. Where are the anime stores in Chicago? Where is like anything related with anime in Chicago, for example. And the same for like in Japan. If you come to Japan and you just type your location and you say, okay, I am in Shinjuku, or I am in Osaka, or I am in Tokyo, whatever, like it's gonna show you, okay, you are like, I don't know, like that far from an anime location, or you are that far from this anime pilgrimage spot. So that's the idea. So like the mission, the mission or creed of Mipon is like to be the bridge or the gateway between the anime or manga fantasy with real life. That's kind of like what we want to achieve, because like I'm so fortunate to live in Tokyo. As an anime fan, I feel blessed that I'm living here. And if someone will come to Japan, I want that person to take advantage of his or her trip as much as possible. So I want the person to feel like I feel every day when I'm living in Japan. Like, oh, there is like, oh, I arrived to Haneda or Narita airport, and then like there was a big anime shop here, or I don't know. Like, I want people to feel like like how I feel. Like, I want people that feel like really excited about like visiting an anime spot, like about living the anime life in Japan. That's what I want everyone to experience when they're in Japan.
That's really noble of you, man.
It's a great way to bring the community together across the world.
And just making sure no one experienced what you experienced, kind of deal. That's really cool.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's now what we are doing, and we are doing now, like, we are planning to have our own mascot, our own character.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah, so now I'm contacting some artists to make the I'm asking for like for estimates and those kind of things. So we are looking for for a mascot. And yeah, like, it's like I never expect this success of the website. I honestly didn't expect that. At the beginning, the first one we had like 2,000, the second one we have 5,000, and then I think that on the third or fourth one we have more like 25,000, and I was like, wow. So people actually like my articles. I was like, wow. I feel it's an honor. Yeah, and the website is growing like crazy. Unfortunately, this Corona thing kind of hurt like the traffic, but yeah, it's going really well. People like really are really happy about like visiting anime spots. So yeah, that's I think that I hope that we can expand the website, create more content, and there are like a lot of articles that I would like to read, and so that I would like to write. For example, the article I'm really excited to write is the Haikyuu article.
Yay!
Yeah,
we're excited
like,
for that too.
Yeah, like I'm planning to go to I think that is Miyagi, like where like with all the the Miyagi Prefecture. So I'm planning to go there. I think I might go either like next week or next month.
Oh wow!
I'll
That's
go.
amazing.
Yeah, so I'm
jealous.
really like excited to write that article, and to make that article like the one of Steins Gate, like step by step. Like first take the train and get off here, and that I would like it like to be like the same article, like step by step. And yeah, I'm really excited to write the article about Haikyuu. I think that's one of the upcoming articles. Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Me too.
I know.
Yeah.
We're all with you on this one. We're excited to read it. So I'm hoping it comes across well. I'm sure it will. If it's, just having it exist will be good enough. But I know that you're going to do a great job with it. So cannot wait to read it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, I mean, Haikyuu is fantastic. Like, it's
Right?
like,
Oh, whoa,
wow,
is this a
I
Haikyuu
love
episode?
Haikyuu,
Here we go. Oh,
Yeah. You can make every episode a Haikyuu
nice,
episode.
because this
Yeah.
is the Haikyuu podcast. We're just talking about Haikyuu.
Everyone wins.
Everyone loves it.
Everyone's happy when we do that.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah,
good
that's
stuff.
awesome
good
to
stuff.
hear. So I'm really excited to see what you have have in the future, and I'm just excited to see the development of this website, even in the the near future. It's so cool that it exists. It's so cool that we have something that can bring us all together, even though we're stuck inside.
No.
Live vicariously through you and go through plan out pilgrimages for when we can come out of quarantine and actually go around and travel Japan and live the dream.
man, you really chose a good time to start this up, because everyone's roaring to go to start traveling again. So it's like
Yeah.
you're gonna meet a bunch of people saying, "Hey, dude, I came here because of your website. Help me out." And, dude, that's gonna be cool. Man.
I met like a couple of people in real life because I'm also organizing. I'm the co-organizing of the biggest anime meetup in Japan. Tutu, you should
Wow.
come. You should come.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
I should. I'll
you
look
should
it up.
come.
That'd be
Yeah, it's so I met like some of my users offline, and they were like, "Oh, so you are the guy from Mipon?" Yeah, and they were like, "I came to Japan because I when I came to Japan, I looked your website and I went to this spot because of your website. Thank you very much." And I was like, "Wow, thank you. It's an
Look at
honor to
that.
hear that."
Look
Yeah.
at that. Hey, you helped someone out fulfill
so
their goals,
cool.
man. This is what we need more of.
It really is, and like it really can't be understated just how helpful it can be, because it's not cheap to go to Japan. Like, go there, try and go to something, and realize you wasted a lot of money and time that you don't have to waste. And so you're really saving people money, time, and effort so they can have a good experience. Like, that really can't be understated, that you're helping people out a lot.
Yeah, good
Thank
stuff.
you. Yeah, and yeah, that's the idea for me, Pon. And I mean, I love anime. I love anime. And I love anime so much. And I mean, so Mipon is for a big fan, to anime fans. So yeah, I hope that we can post more content. Like we are, like now we are like 3 people in the team. And yeah, we
great.
are always looking to publish new stuff. Yeah, I hope that everything goes well for me, fun.
You're good. Best of luck to you.
Yeah. Best of luck. And yeah, thank you for sharing this all with us, and giving us the lowdown on your website, and giving us the sneak peek for Haikyuu, since we can now all look forward to this and hype it up.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, did you guys have anything else you wanted to bring up about like anime tourism or Mipon in general?
I got nothing. I all I have now with me, because I went to go grab it when I got interrupted. I have my Your Name music box here.
Oh,
Yeah.
can we actually hear it if
Yeah,
you
hold
open
on.
it?
I gotta wind it.
Wait, I'm excited.
I freaking love this thing.
It's so cute.
Yeah. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, I got nothing else.
So yeah. So on that note, we're gonna wrap it up for the night. I'm so honored that you reached out to us, Alfred, and it's been so much fun to talk to you, so much fun to make a new friend, and so much fun to talk about Mipon.org. It's such a great website. I genuinely have a lot of fun going through the different pages. As you said, the Steins Gate article is really great. I would recommend everyone check it out, even if you can't go to Japan or the Steins Gate Cafe. Like, just go check it out and see what they've actually done and brought to life for so many different series. Check it out, plan out your vacation ahead of time. And in the meantime, check on their YouTube channel, Mipon. And they have some really cool videos that you guys have posted. We will post a link in the description. And so everyone will know how to reach out to you. Is there anywhere else you would like people to reach out to you if they have any questions? Maybe they're looking to submit some articles like Bacon said, or just anything in general.
Oh, well, yeah, they can reach me on Twitter or by email, or they can leave a comment on either in the website or in the YouTube channel. I think that the fastest way will be on Twitter or email.
Okay.
Or also we are also on Facebook. We just launched our Facebook page. So yeah, like I think
cool.
that Twitter or email will be the fastest way. And if someone has like any questions about like the anime life in Japan, like anime tourism or like anime in general, that feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to answer like any question about that.
Nice.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Okay, so I'll post your Twitter handle also in the description. So anywhere to reach out to you will be in the description.
Yeah.
So
Thank you. Thank you, and it was an honor to be in your podcast. I had a stunning time talking with you guys, and I can feel your passion as well for anime. So that's something really cool.
Oh,
Thank you.
And yeah, believe me, it was an honor. I'm so happy to talk with you guys, and yeah, so I look forward to speak with you again. Thank you.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, we'll definitely love to have you on again, especially as we can feel your passion too for not just anime, but the anime community at large. So we're really thankful to have you. I'm also thankful to have Bacon and Tutu come on and share your experiences. As I said, I haven't had the opportunity to go to Japan, so I'm glad that I can hear from both of you guys, especially since you guys love so many obscure shows and you can comment on them and what you've done for those.
We'll take that as a
So,
compliment. Thank
it-
you.
No, it
Oh,
is
okay.
a compliment. That was an intentional compliment. So
Great.
I'm thankful to be surrounded by such great people, especially in such trying times. So we have a lot to look forward to in the future, both with Mipon.org and once we are no longer quarantined.
Yep.
So on that note, I'm gonna say good night to everyone. Stay safe, stay indoors, and stay watching anime. And check out Mipon.org. There it is, Mipon.org. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Thank you.
Later.
Bye.